This was also very crazy to me. Check this out.
End him. That was the goal of a group of 10 and 11-year-old girls who surprise police say wanted to kill a boy at school. The motive? He's accused of cheating on one of them, so she wants him dead. The murder plot was simple. According to the police report, 4 fifth-grade students at Legacy Traditional School's West Surprise campus planned to lure a classmate to the charter school's outside bathroom and stab him in the stomach. And each girl had a role to play to get away with it. One would bring the knife, another would forge a suicide note to make it seem like he took his own life, and someone would act as a lookout while the other carried out the stabbing. And to avoid fingerprints on the murder weapon, they would wear gloves. Documents say the friends came up with the plan during lunch and recess on October 1st. Legacy administrators worked with the school resource officer to investigate when students who overheard the plot came forward. The next day, their backpacks were searched and the suspects were individually questioned with their parents present. All 4 children were then arrested for threatening and disorderly conduct misdemeanor charges. The police report says 3 of the students showed remorse, but the 4th would smile and laugh while making excuses for their actions.
So that blew my mind.
Wow.
That really, really blew my mind. 4 fifth-grade girls plotted to off this 5th-grade boy because he cheated on one of them. First of all, I mean, there's the obvious and then there's the obvious, right? First of all, why are 4 5th-grade girls in a relationship with a boy? You're 10 years old. And he cheated on you, and that was so egregious that you felt that you needed to kill him. You needed to off him. And you got 3 of your other female friends to agree with it. And y'all all developed this intricate plot to lure him somewhere. One person was going to bring the knife. One person was going to forge the suicide note. What? What are we talking about? And see, I called somebody that we both know out some time ago because, you know, I would get into this whole thought culture, embrace of whole culture, misandrous culture, and I really let her have it, like, you know, talking about some of the people who she co-signs and some of the people who, you know, she kind of buddies up to, you know, in a personal way and in a celebrity manner. You know, we start talking about, you know, you can't be out here co-signing Cardi B and Young Miami, then talking about you're a progressive thinking woman. I'm sorry. It just, no, that ain't how it go. You understand? And it was something so telling to me. And, you know, she said, well, at least they ain't talking about killing. So because those people, because they're not rapping about killing, that means that, oh, you know, what they're doing ain't that serious. They just having a little fun. Don't judge them. We have to watch people like that, because what happens is, you know, you see very clearly, you know, you let these types of values or lack thereof, you let these things fester over time. And you got 10-year-old girls out here talking about how this little boy cheated on them and they gonna kill him. And while I'm at it, I would be remiss if I didn't refer to a song, because we talked about Glorilla earlier with the twerking on them headlights, right? Don't SZA got a song about Kill Bill? Don't she? Don't SZA got a song about killing the man who cheated? Oh, okay. But then they'll turn right around and tell you, oh, the music don't influence me.
There's a whole plethora. In fact, I think we can honestly say that at this point we have a whole genre itself that could be created and dedicated towards violent actions as a result of infidelity that women single-handedly can spear point.
Yes,
we've had some songs about dudes lashing out. We have, but there's no comparison to the sheer volume of songs that women put out, and hit songs, mind you.
It's despicable, and they co-sign the shit, bro.
I bust the windows out your
car. Yeah, they co-sign it. They think it's the flyest shit ever, you know. And I mean, nobody calls this stuff out. And I say this all the time, and you know, this kind of tells me which sisters are really down and which ones are full of shit. Because, you know, a lot of sisters, every time y'all, you know, see something that's toxic out here, as long as the person got a pair of titties, y'all give it a pass. You understand? And we ain't with the bullshit. Like, everybody gets called out equally. And a lot of these people up here, these toxic ass people, these toxic ass celebrities, and the bile and the vicious toxin that they spew is infecting the minds of these young girls that got them like that. Not only that, it's poor parenting, you know, from a lot of y'all out there, if we keeping it a buck, because y'all talk about that type of shit, you know, and nigga cheat, I'm gonna kill his ass. Y'all say this shit all willy-nilly like it's cool. You understand? And then the kids pick it up. Then the shit that you have them watching on television is not appropriate for children. I could go all day, you know, but this was particularly disturbing. You got these innocent babies out here devising these sinister plots to off somebody over nothing. My head exploded, bro. So what y'all got? Look on that for me, because man, y'all got to talk me off the ledge. God damn.
So like, people don't understand, like, when I used to do the shows, I never told you guys what it was about. You guys were just seeing the clips as it goes.
Yeah.
Right? We never talked about the clips at the time. That's one of the dope things that we provide here. We don't tell each other what we're going to present. Yeah. Now that Major's taken over that position, he doesn't tell us none of this stuff. We're getting it live, like how you guys are getting it. So I was over here looking. So when you see me look to the side, I'm Googling stuff through my phone. Yeah. And I was looking to see, because I didn't hear about that, but it disgusted me to know a sinister plot like that. And I'm like, damn, these children are already watching ID Channel and all these other shows that show, you know, murderous things, and they're getting ideas. Then they got access to Google and all this other stuff, depending on their household, who don't control what they access to, what they have access to. So I'm like, but you know, the average fifth graders is 10 to 11 years old. Right. So you're like 10, 11 years old, and they're talking about I've seen more organization in these children than I've seen in real life adults. That's crazy, right? So I had to Google where the story is from, because this was the first time I'm hearing it. You brought it up. Yeah. And they're from Arizona, Surprise, right? Surprise, right? So in that, I looked at the demographics. The demographics, because the population is 160,000 people. The median age is 41 years, and the racial demographics is white, non-Hispanic, 66.9, Hispanic, Latino, 19.2, Asian, 2.6, African American, Black, 5.1, Native American, 1, and 5% other. So what's that telling me is these are white children. Even if they're Hispanic, because those are the two majority population, even they're Hispanic, they're still classified as white.
White people with tans, really good tans.
Yeah. Well, so when you look at it,
just the fact that they didn't mention their name, you know, they're white. But go ahead.
Yeah. So when you look at that stuff and the way they were talking about downplaying it, right? And it just, every time you hear some kind of downplay in these children when they do horrible shit, you know it's not non-Black. So these are the type of things that go on in their neighborhood, in their society. And then you have people out here that don't understand how statistics work. See, it really is big on our end, because we get caught. See, if you look at all the mass murderers that is in the white culture and the white population, you know, I can't even name some of them white serial killers that went on for years killing white folks and then get caught, right? So when you look at them, if you don't get caught, it's not a statistic. So it goes under the realms of people being dead, but they don't get caught. And even if they get caught, they get slaps on the wrist or avoided out of the jail sentence. So their statistics don't build up over the time to make it really as horrible as their culture is. So when you see this type of stuff, you know, it's alarming to know that we have this type of stuff being played out here. And what is more alarming is see women and young girls get to play victims even when they're villains, because this is a young boy who almost lost his life because he made a decision to walk away from a girl, and he probably made the right choice because he walked away from a young girl who had these toxic ass traits to line up a damn arsenal of Powerpuff Girl killers that was going to take his ass out going to the goddamn bathroom. So that type of stuff right there should be alarming to America. And for you guys to downplay a boy getting killed, because if it was 5 boys out here killing a girl, it would have been damn near in the international news right now.
Exactly.
Boy, it would be a whole movement. Oh my man. There would be at least 19 different movements and organizations formed. We need to deal with the rampant misogyny coming from men. This culture of men. It would have been a whole man. Look, they would have had schools around the nation doing hold hands at the flagpole and everything, talking about how we need to. There'd be counselors going out talking. We need to talk to young boys to discuss the violence that they have going towards women. All that.
Yep.
Facts.
I didn't hear about this until you brought it up.
That's why I had to bring it up, because
I'm probably never going to hear about it again. This will be a blink and you miss it moment. But you know, I remember probably about this is what, 2025. I remember probably about 15 years, maybe a little longer. There was a story that made the news that I heard about, and it had several people's lids flipping and doing backflips. I know it definitely had mine doing that. And it was about some students, some 5th graders in a Louisiana elementary school that got caught in their class when the class out of lunch. I guess they snuck out, or they were able to get left behind or whatever. So a pair of students, they were found having sex in the school. As a matter of fact, I think it might have been 2 girls, which made it even more wild. So not only having sex, but 2. Okay, so we have some extra wild layers. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, Jesus Christ, they're getting it in at 5th grade now.
Yeah.
But I remember I had a thought like, you know what? It's going to be a whole lot worse things than this happening earlier. 15 years later, and I'm kicked in the teeth with this. But as always, I don't look at these babies, because they are just that. Children that have barely even touched double digits, even that is not something that comes from within them. That's their environment.
Right.
And because they're girls, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be done, at least not as efficiently as it should, as if they're boys. But I really hope against hope that social services got involved and they did a very thorough examination in that house to see what the environment is like. What music are the parents or the older siblings listening to here? What TV shows and movies are being played? What's the music that's being bumped? What are the conversations like?
Right.
Because I remember when I was in the classroom, I had some young girls in elementary school, some 3rd and 4th graders. And I remember I would hear some of them talk in between, whether it was at lunchtime or whether it was in the class and they got a minute or whatever to just socialize. I'm listening to them talk. And my ears are doing the cha-cha style, like, because this ain't no damn childhood conversation. They sound like they fell asleep with Bad Girls Club or Basketball Birds on or something, or Black Ink Crew or something on at night, and they woke up and that's what they were talking. I'm like, this is not how children talk.
Facts.
I'm like, why are these young girls speaking this way? I'm looking at the way they're coming into school, and they already they're not even in junior high yet. And the poor things, they already got damn extensions tugging their hair out of the roots. The foreheads are already receding. They're already developing conditions that they shouldn't be getting at that early age, because they got hair pulling out their follicles or the roots because they're still growing, they're still developing.
Despicable.
I'm like, baby girl, you're supposed to have your hair in some damn barrettes. It's a damn scrunch. You're supposed to be running around outside during PE, getting sweaty as possible, dirty as possible, having fun being children. Why is this adult ass nonsense that's silly for us? It's silly for adults, to be honest. Why is this being forced and stuffed in your chest this early?
Right.
But when I see this and when you speak out about it, there's nothing wrong with that. The adultification of children is not a victimless crime.
Is not.
These babies are the first victims, but please believe the rest of us are going to have to feel it sooner than later. Case in point. I wonder what these girls specifically, I'm not gonna let the other ones off the hook, but the girl who got cheated on, quote unquote,
yeah,
she was the mastermind behind this, and I'm sure she roped her friends in it. And I mean, the idea of murder and everything, these are children that in many cases still don't really probably understand death. So how much they probably understand, I'm not sure. But this little girl, she pulled it out the woodwork. And I wonder what conversations, what she's been witness to that gave her the idea to do this, that gave her even the seeds to even lay out a plan like this. But most importantly of all, gave her the entitlement to act on this.
Right.
I see this boy as property, or even if I don't, has some binding obligation to me. How dare you how dare you do me dirty? I'm going to lash out at you in this manner. That mindset to develop like that. Again, y'all gonna stop one day. And I really wish they're starting to do it now with firearms charges now. I need, when more of these situations happen, that these parents or these guardians, quote unquote, start getting held accountable, because unfortunately it won't be enough for these children to be hurt and get caught up and get records behind this for adults to do the right thing. It's going to be when their asses are on the fire, that's when things are going to change.
Yeah.
And big up,
saying earlier.
Go ahead and pull it up right quick, because Anubis, shout out to our brother Anubis TV. And also, when you get a chance, we'll drop the link later on. Our brother Anubis TV, he's out here trying to go ahead and put some proper, solid knowledge and some rectification out there. He's competing to go ahead and be a performing artist at the Global Citizen Festival. Make sure y'all go ahead and run up some votes for him. It's the first vote is free. You can vote daily. The first vote is free. Additional votes cost money, but if possible, it would be great, not just for him personally, for an accolade for him, but it'd be great if we can get someone that's solid, who has a righteous, proper mindset to be out there on that stage. Because like we're talking about, the idiots have the ears of the masses. Any opportunity we can take to get someone that has something to actually say, something of value, anytime we can get the opportunity to put someone like that down the front, on Front Street, we need to do that.
Yeah.
But go ahead and pull up what brother Anubis TV just said. The last comment he said right there. It's because the parents are trying to be best friends with children instead of parents.
Yes.
And both pay more attention to social media than being a normal family. I'm about to get out my soapbox real quick. I saw a video last night, of this heroic young sister. Big ups to her. I think she might be 12 or 13 or 14 years old. She was out of the pool, saw her young sister was drowning. The baby jumped in the pool, had like a little life preserver on, and she jumped in the pool with it, but the thing flipped over. Coming up, that's happened to me when I was a teenager. That happened. It's very easy to do. Jumped in, the thing flipped her over, and so she probably could swim, but she's being held upside down by this thing trying to float. She was drowning. Soon the sister saw her, big sis, big ups to her, dove in that mug, pulled her out. They started working CPR on her and everything else. Cops came. She's okay now, by the grace of God. Thank God.
Okay.
But of course, once we recover the shot, the question is, well, how did this happen? Where's the parent who was responsible for it?
Right.
And I'll say it, the goofy mother out there at poolside.
Wow. Oh, we got such a long way to go, bro. We got such a long way to go. That's crazy. I see.
And she still was the first one in the pool when that happened. It took somebody else seeing the child to jump up in there and jump to action.
Yeah.
So I'll land right there. I think I would hope that says everything else that I need to say.
No, that's facts. And that's well said. We got too many people out here with the bird mentality, and that's just, at the end of the day, back in the days, man, if you compare today's women with the women back in the 60s and the 70s. It's a totally different animal. You know, these women today are so preoccupied with being seen. She was probably on her social media posting some pics of her, you know, with the camera in her face doing some duck lips or some other stupid shit like that. Our women today, unfortunately, are so unserious that it is to the detriment of the community. You understand? And that is one thing that the sister last week that we had on did say that I do give her some props for, you know, that we have a lot of these women out here, unfortunately, you know, that have been wounded, you know, from childhood, and they carry these wounds into adulthood to the point where, like you just said, you know, got this chicken head bird on her damn phone trying to be cute and trying to see, you know, what reality TV show Trick is banging this week. You understand what I'm saying? And her kid is over there dying. You understand that? I mean, we got to get an air of seriousness about ourselves. Conversations 2020.